afternoon, and thanks for attending. It's a pleasure being here and to tell you a very personal story about Galan Lithium. I'm the managing director of Galan Lithium, but I'm also the founder of the company. This is a story that has very personal meaning to me. It's something that I came across 2 years ago. I thought it was really good, and no one believed me. Had to sell my car, just took my savings, quit my job, moved to Argentina to start this up. 2 years later, I'm really pleased to have a really good team in Australia and a really good team in Argentina that is helping, supporting us, and make this story great. And it's a story that's got a significant upside that I'm going to start sharing with you guys. So thanks for attending today. The usual disclaimer: why Galan? If I tell you that instead of Argentina, this is Australia, and I'm talking about iron ore, and I said, I've got a resource at Mount Wellback, you're all going to start looking at, wow, what's this? This is the same story, but in lithium brines in Argentina at the second best salt flat that is in operation today in the world. That's how significant this project is, and that's why it made me quit my job in a jiffy, just to. I'm a mineral economist by background, so I always look at the fundamentals, and I knew that this ticks all the boxes even before I start doing sampling the ground. So the location is great. The quality is we're proving that is excellent. We're highly active in the last 2 years, from an idea just driving around Argentina to a maiden resource at Candelas and looking to expand our resource base at the Western Tenement. We're looking to expand our resource base with high grade and low impurities. Right personnel, I just got probably the best board that I can ask for, and my country team, they're very active. They're all shareholders as well, so they're just not people that are there doing the job. They are highly motivated to do what we need to do. We got access to water. If we need water, we know that our low-grade lithium brines could be amicable for reverse osmosis. So a secret in mining, you need water, and we have it. So that is a big tick for us. The maiden resource, we did it within 8 months, and probably this is what's important to mention is that we plan to do drilling throughout winter, and now the junior was doing that sort of job at the Atacama, so at the Andes are 4,000 meters, and we drill throughout winter. So the winter condition can be rough, but if you prepare yourself, gear up yourself, you can do it. So we did it, and within 8 months we have our first maiden resource. We're quite busy. We're starting up PFS, and we are now focused on increase our resource in the Western Tenements. So we are in the Lithium Triangle. Lithium Triangle is Chile, Argentina, and Bolivia. And main salt flat in Chile is the Atacama. Don't forget that name, it's going to turn up again. But we are in Hombre Muerto, which is the best salt flat in Argentina. Our neighbors are significantly important. It's Livent, POSCO, and Galaxy Resources. So these are big names that are in there. The way that I like to describe this is a project in elephant country, and we are going from a baby elephant to a bigger baby elephant now. So why brines? Everyone knows about lithium hard rock, lithium brines, but the cost curve shows clearly to your left that the lowest operating producers are the brines producers, followed by hard rock. So when I see an opportunity in brines to produce lithium carbonate, that to feed all the lithium industry in the future, that is going to be demanding lithium for all the cars and all the applications in the housing, then I will go and put myself and my money and my time into lithium brines. A simplified view of this is to produce lithium carbonate for the South American brines, including operating costs and capex, is around $6 a ton or $6,000 a ton. The current price is $7,500 a ton. So you can see that we can definitely compete with Greenbushes and the rest of Australia and the rest of the world. So when we are sitting in that position, we know that in the long term, whatever the market throws at us, we'll be able to sustain. If you look into lithium hydroxide, that everybody knows where that goes into the batteries, it's a bit more capex. We're not going to be able to compete against Greenbushes, which is the best hard rock mine in the world. The Atacama is there, as I mentioned earlier on. That's the best sulfide in the world. But we definitely can compete with the rest of the world, with brines from China, minerals from Australia, even if we produce lithium hydroxide that's got $8,000 a ton, that are currently trading around $8,500 a ton. So there's always room for margins and make money and defend ourselves into where we're going. So in terms of Galan, I'll give you all the story about who else is in the market. So I set this up so I can show you where we're at. So these are all the salt flats in Argentina, and the important thing is to see that you want to be as close as decent and as close as decent in this quadrant. So Galan is within this pack of salt flats in Argentina, and if you start looking closely, who are they? Again, repeating names: Hombre Muerto Galaxy, Hombre Muerto Livent, Hombre Muerto POSCO. So, and we are within that pack. So you also can see that Orocobre, which is listed in Australia, is there. So Orocobre, as hard as it's been for them to get online, and all the stumps on the way, they're still cash flow positive. They're still making money, even in this downturn time. So there is always room for improvement from our end, because we learn a lot from their experience. They were the first one in Argentina in a long time to start producing. A bit more complex graph to show that is, you got the lithium to magnesium ratio and the sulfur to lithium ratio. You want to be as close as zero, because the cleanest, the closer to zero, the cleanest is your product. Hombre Muerto sit within that quadrant. And what it means is that in terms of operating costs, after the Atacama, what we know from the Phoenix operation and Sal de Vida, the studies from Galaxy, we could have a very strong competitive position to, once we get to a point that we can deploy a project down the track. Our capital structure, we have 157 million shares. We are relatively tight. Management and directors got around 30% of the company, so it's very tightly held. Our top 20 shareholders around 46% of the company. So there is a lot of skin on the game. We're all working towards a common goal, and there's plenty of motivation for us to go forward. The cash position as September was $2.4 million. Our market cap today is sitting around 20 million. Our board, just quickly, I'd like to mention Daniel. Daniel is sitting among us today, so I'm very pleased to say that, to have him here. I always talk about him in all my presentations around the world, but today I can say, hello, Daniel, and thanks for joining us. Daniel has 28 years experience directly at SQM. SQM, up to 2 years ago, was the largest lithium producer in the world. Daniel was the Senior Vice President of Commercial. So to have someone of his caliber with us today and supporting us and helping us with the strategy to move forward and developing our project from Galan, when realistically, I know Daniel for the last 10 years, but you cannot fake chemistry. You cannot fake the geology. The results are there. The proof in the pudding about the resource that we have and the potential where we can go is there, and Daniel believes in that, and very pleased that he's part of our board today. More to where we are. I mentioned POSCO. POSCO bought early this year the northern part of Sal de Vida from Galaxy from $280 million. Probably that was a bit high in terms of a transaction, but it shows that companies like POSCO, that is an industrial company, can go all the way down to get into securing lithium. So that shows that they're looking into the long term. Whilst the short term today may be looking into an oversupply and the price is going down, and we are in an environment that you might not like lithium, the fundamentals in the long terms are very strong. The electric cars are not going to go away. The technology that we're applying in everything that we're seeing, batteries for houses and everything else, it is there and it's not going away. So when you got a company like POSCO putting all this money into the salt flat, and then they say that they're going to mine it, it's a strong proof that this is something good. Also, Livent has said that they're expanding the production. Orocobre is also expanding. So when you look at the company, what are the companies doing, the large companies, in the long term? They're not walking away from lithium. They are actually committing. The same goes with SQM. They're putting more money and expanding because they believe that in the long term, supply is not going to be enough to meet demand. And if I tell you that in next 5 to 10 years, this is the struggle that we're going to see. The lack of commitment in the industry is showing that in the next 2 to 3 years, we're going to start seeing some potential shortage of supply. So all of these things are relevant, and we are in the best sulfate that we can be to deliver a very good product. We had, I'm going to now Candelas. Candelas, the previous page was this. Early this year, we drill it. We have all the data in terms of results. What came transpired from that is we have a 685 kilotons of lithium carbonate equivalent at a grade 672 milligrams per liter. This is very similar on the chemistry, probably a bit lower grade than Galaxy, but the chemistry, the composition is pretty much the same. So what Galaxy is doing is they're doing a lot of studies, and their conclusion is a lot of feed to us. You know, we're saving a lot of time and effort from their results. So we're analyzing everything that they're doing because we're literally the same. So, but most importantly is that this remains a very pure deposit. You know, the conclusions about grades and impurity remains along Hombre Muerto. The same data that we see from POSCO, the same data we see from Livent and other neighbors, and data that we have from other studies, you know, they all point in the same direction. The Hombre Muerto sulfate is very homogeneous in terms of impurities. What it varies is the grade. The base grade is excellent, and we are unfolding some other areas that actually are showing a very strong results. The Western Basin projects, which are these tenements here that we just drilled, and they're all in blue. We initially thought that they were satellite projects, but actually by footprint from the surface, they were looking that it could yield some sort of tonnage. We put 2 drill holes there. We currently performing geophysics. SRK is going to take this data, and with the information that we know, what we like is the numbers stacking up for potentially thinking this is not anymore a satellite project. Could potentially be another project by itself, a standalone project that could potentially compete with Candelas. I mean, this is work that needs to be done by SRK, and for us to get to those conclusions. But yeah, at this stage, what we know is looking really interesting. So I'll say watch this space. We are doing the resource estimation. Q1 next year, as soon as we can, we're going to release the resource to the market, and then we're going to start looking into more as what we're going to do and which one we're going to go first in terms of the pre-feasibility studies and results. So this is a flavor of the grades that we find already, and that's why we're getting so excited, because on average, Candela is 682 milligrams per liter. Patapila, everything went above 900 milligrams per liter, so it's close to 20% more than what we were seeing initially on average at Candelas. And then we would drill Rana itself, whilst this is very on the surface. Once we went a little bit lower, the grade just jumped. And the impurity levels are even lower than we see in Candelas. So that's why I mentioned these could be competing projects. So when we compare ourselves to our peers, you know, we standing out in terms of grade. This is going to grow. Argos is got a lower base in terms of the resource, and the grades are lower. Compared to that to Lake, larger resource, but then the grade is significantly lower, and Anson, they are growing the resource, but the grade is, again, significantly lower. So that places in Argentina as the best lithium project currently in the ASX. So this is something that is not going to go away, because you know, this is actually hard facts now. It's not just me telling I've got a proposition of a beautiful project in Argentina. We have something strong, and we are building on it, and it's getting bigger and better. So in terms of what we've done, something to highlight is that we received drilling permits. We got a really good relationship with the local Argentinian government to give us permit, and actually being able to execute all the drilling campaigns that we're doing. We're now starting the pre-feasibility study. We intended to have a pilot plant second half next year, and we like to put all of our efforts trying to get and reach that goal. So as I mentioned, the Argentinian government, you know, whilst it's very proactive at a federal level, we've seen as well a very strong commitment from the new government that started actually today in Argentina to be pro-mining. So whilst we've seen that no, it's my timers. Well, what we've seen that in Argentina things are up and down. I can tell you that Livent has been there for 28 years. When Orocobre is expanding, Livent is expanding. Toyota is part of Orocobre. You know, there's a strong case for investment in Argentina and in lithium, and the government likes lithium, and that is going to be something that we might see for the next 30 years there. So, strong commitment to that. So we have a good project in a world-class location, really good team, good people, and we're moving forward. We're going to make it bigger and better, low impurities and high grade. So I'm very excited to be here today, and thanks very much for your time.